Hi, welcome to the Running Master channel. My name's Dan. This is the first episode of the mini-series about how to get the most out of your Garmin Fenix 6 Pro watch and how to set up some of the features and maybe show you some features that you didn't know existed, so you can get the most out of using your watch. So if you've got one or you're thinking of getting one, then stay tuned and here's some tips for you. They will also apply to the Garmin 945 and the 755 as well, in case you have those watches too. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so and hit the notification button as well, so you know when I've uploaded the next one in this series. So the first thing is a quick overview of the buttons. So the button up here is the light button or quick menu button. Then we've got the main menu or up button, down button. This button here we'll call the action button. You often use this to enter functions, and this one is the back button, which is to obviously go back a screen. So the first thing I want to show you is the watch faces. So this watch face is generally the one that comes as standard, and you may want to change it or you may want to customize it. So the way that we do that is, first of all, we press the long press on this middle menu button. So we long press and we'll go into watch face. If we use the action button to enter watch faces, and the little white bar that you maybe just saw briefly appear there comes up, and you can now use the down button to cycle through various different types of watch face that you may want to choose. Now you may want to customize that. If you're happy with this one and you're happy with just selecting it, you can then press the action button, hit apply, and then it will take you back to the main watch face, and that's you done. If you want to customize it, you can then press the down button to get into customize, and then press the action button again. And then there are various things you can do. So we can change the dial, so we can now change, and you see the little white bar come back up again, so we can now start scrolling through all the different variations within this particular watch face of how it's going to look. And we can then go back. If we want to save changes, we can do that. I'm going to say no by hitting down and then action. We can also change the hands, so we can now press the action button again and see what the different hands look like, and you can see they change thickness, design, length a little bit. The second hand appears and disappears as well, and changes colour as we go through. So you can customize that. You can also customize the individual elements around the face as well. So if I go back, I'm just going to say no to these changes. You can change the data. So if we want to go into the data, you can see this Fenix logo is now flashing, so we can change that. If I press the action button, you can see it cycles through. I'm going to go back into data again, so that's the cycle that it takes you through. So the Fenix one, I'm now going to change this, and you can see the white bar appears again. It's gone to disappear. Now you've got different actions, so I've got the date in different formats, heart rate, number of steps, number of calories, floors climbed, active minutes, how long the battery's going to last, sunrise, sunset, various different things that you can choose on there. So all of this is customizable. If you want to go through to the next one, you then just press the action button and do the same thing again, changing how you want it set up. And then finally hit the back button. Do you want to save changes? Yes or no? I'm going to say no. So back into the watch faces, and so you can go back into the main screen of the watch faces, and you can choose all the different ones. These ones up here that I'm cycling through at the moment are the main Garmin default ones. If I come down here, I also have a couple here that I have got from the Connect IQ store. And these are all quite customizable as well, although you customize them via the app on your phone as opposed to customizing them on here. All you can do here is just apply them or not apply them. So I'm going to choose apply. This is the one I'm using at the moment. I quite like it. I've seen it on a few other people's watches, and I'm enjoying it. So This is the one I'm using right now. This isn't a review of watch faces. Some of them you have to pay for, some of them are free, but this is just one that I'm kind of getting along with right now. So after you've had a go at changing your watch faces, you'll probably also then want to go and do an activity. After all, you bought an activity watch. So let's go into the activity menu, which is the top right hand button here. So we'll come out of that. We're going to go into the run mode. I do most of my running. There are other activities which I'll talk about another time, but I'm going to show you the run setup that I have at the moment. Going into run, the latest update on Garmin gives you a suggested workout, which I haven't done today, so it gives me an idea of what they think I should be doing. To get rid of that, you just hit the back button. So this now just takes me into a basic run. The red bar at the top will go green if I was outside. I'm indoors, therefore it's not going to work, but that would now go and try and find the GPS so that I could go running. So the first thing to show you is that the thing I want to show you is the data fields. So this is how I have my run watch set up at the moment, and I have 5 screens. I have this screen, I then have another one which also does some other metrics for when I'm running, and then it again goes through the time of day, the map, because this is the Fenix6 Pro, and then it goes into music as well. So that's what I've got. There are other things that you can set up. So how do you change this? Well, if I press the up button, you can see it says options with a little arrow as it's scrolling through here. So I'm going to press the up. I'm going to go down into run settings, press the action button, and then data screens. So this now has all the data screens that I have available. So my data screens are, as I said, set up so you can see all of these, and these now become customizable. The first screen though is shown with this little pencil sign, so I'm going to press this to edit it, and I can then go and hit the layout. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. You have 1 to 6 different types of layout. You can have one metric, or you can have up to 6. So if I just scroll through, you can see I've got middle ground, but if I go up, it then goes into 2 and then 1. So at the very top you've got 1 option, 2 data screens coming all the way through to what I've got, and then different layouts of 4 followed by 5, and then if you really want to, 6. Now it depends on your eyesight and how much you want to see on one particular screen, but you're not limited to just having one screen or even 2 screens. You can have a number of these screens. So decide how you want it set up. You may find that whilst you're running along, it's actually quite difficult to see 6 little bits of data on one screen, and actually just a simple button press will take you to another screen and make it more easily readable. It's all personal preference, but as you can see, very, very customizable. So I'm going to go into my one. I'm going to choose the one that I already had set up. Now I'm going to go into data fields. So now you can see if I go into data fields, the first one is flashing. That's the heart rate. I can now change that similar to how I changed it on the watch face by going through. Now it's slightly different in the sense that when you press the down button, it now cycles through, whereas it was the action button on the watch face that was cycling it through. It's now the down button that cycles through. Don't know why it's not consistent, but that's the difference. So now if I press the action button, I can now bring up the fields that I can choose from. So I've got distance fields, pace fields, speed fields, all sorts of different things that I can pick up. So if I go into the pace fields, you can now get your average pace over the run that you're doing, how the pace is going on your particular lap, how the last one was, and you can cycle through each of those. You can also do your speed as well. You'll often find that the speed fields will be on cycling activities as opposed to running activities, but you can change all of those as well. So there's lots and lots of different things that you can see. If you go into the distance field, you can go and get how far you've gone, what your overall is, what your last lap was, etc., etc. So there's loads of things that you can then go and play with. I'm going to leave mine as heart rate. But like I said, if you wanted to, you could go and add in another data field. If I go back into here, now before I come in here, I can now, before I go and edit any of the fields, I can now come down to here and do add new. So this is what I was saying, is that you can just go and add a brand new data field. So there's all sorts of things that you can add in here, like virtual partners, so you can set a pace and then you can see how far you're going against a particular pace that you want to run at, and whether you're ahead or behind. You've got compasses, elevations, all sorts of different things, but you've got the custom data there. And then again, much like you saw before, you can then go and choose how many fields you want for that particular custom data. So you can have a number of different screens set up, so you're not limited to just having all your data on one screen. So I hope that helps. That's one thing you can see on, this is how you set up your data fields for going for a run. The last thing to show you in this series of 3 is something that is not going to be easily found. So I'm going to show you where you can find how to do breath work. So if you go down, this is going to take you into your widgets. This is for setting up another time, which I can take you through, but I am going to go down into this particular one here, which is your stress levels. Obviously it's not measuring anything because it's not currently on my wrist, but if I go into this stress level, it shows me my levels of stress. If I now press the action button again, it will now take me into this option where I can focus and relax with a 5-minute activity. So what it will do is it will take you through just some simple breathing exercises. So if you're feeling particularly stressed and you just want 5 minutes of time out, then this is a great way of taking you through it, especially if you haven't done meditation before. And if you haven't, I would highly recommend it. I think just five minutes or so of just relaxed breathing will do wonders. It's more commonly known now, I think, than it ever was, but this will take you through it really, really nicely. So I'm going to press the down button to hit OK, and then when you're ready, you press the play, and then it will take you through 30 seconds. And what it will do is this is your time now to then start to just settle into a chair and relax. And obviously it takes you through it as well. So it tells you to place one hand on your abdomen and breathe in and out of your nose, holding your breath between each breath. So it's just getting you to kind of giving you 30 seconds just to get into preparing yourself for the activity. And then what it will then do is then take you through this phase of 3 seconds of breathing in, holding your breath, and then breathing back out again. So it will vibrate. You may be able to hear that very, very faintly, but it is effectively taking you through 3 seconds of breathing out, holding it, and then breathing in again. And every time you need to do each action, the watch is vibrating on your wrist, so it will take you through that. I think this is a fantastic activity, and as you can see, it's got a little countdown timer at the bottom, which is taking you through the 5 minutes of relaxing time. Now, once you've had enough, or when it finishes, you press the stop button, and you can then see it will go into the screen that obviously tends to the end screen, if you like, that signifies the end of an activity, and it brings you up the normal options of resuming, saving, resuming later, or hitting a lap button, I don't know why you need that, or discarding. Now if you hit save, this will put it into Garmin Connect and record that you did some breathwork activity, but it will also put it through to Strava as well. So because there is no filter at the moment to stop certain activities going through to Strava, everything will go, and I'm not sure how it gets recorded, but everyone will be able to see that you did some kind of 5-minute activity. Now decide whether you want that or not, whether it was necessary. Often I will just discard these, and so it's not necessary for me to have that on Strava. I don't need it, so I'm just going to discard it. The other way of getting to this function as well is also, as you can see, through the main activity screen. So if I just go back into the watch screen, hit the activity button, it takes me into breathwork, which is where I just was, and then you can actually set up different types of breathwork. So I'm going to just go into options. There are different types of breathing techniques, so you can change the technique that you want to do. So you've got to relax and focus. So you know the one we did was just 5 minutes, or the one I showed you was 5 minutes. There are ones of different length. Similar kind of thing in breathing, but it will take you through different kinds of breathing technique for different lengths of time as well. Those ones you may want to record and put through to Garmin Connect or through to Strava if meditation is part of your normal training plan. So that's breath work. As I said, I think it's great to be able to do that little bit of breath work if you're feeling stressed, especially at times like Christmas. It's great to be able to just dip into that, take 5 minutes for yourself and just switch off and focus on your breathing. So there's 3 tips to help you get started with your new watch, and maybe one that you didn't know about as well, that I think you'll find really useful. So I hope you enjoyed those. Please let me know in the comments below if there's anything you would like to know particularly about the Garmin Fenix 6 watch, and I'll do my very best to try and answer it in the next episode. Please let me know whether you found this too basic, too advanced, and I'll try and tailor it for future episodes because I want to make this series effective for you to get the most out of your watch. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit me a like as well if you found it useful, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks a lot. Take care. Enjoy your running and your watch.